Today's daf is Masechtas Nedarim, Daf Pei Vav. So it is a little bit of a continuation from the last Amud, Pei Hey and Beis. The Gemara there just finished saying a teretz to answer Stira in Shmuel. That Shmuel's mashma over here in Nedarim that a person cannot make a neder on a davar shaloi b'la olam. But in the Mishnah, Legabe Maisi Yadayim in Masechtas Ksubas Nun Ches, it's mashma that he could be makdish davar shaloi b'la olam. So the Gemara said that it's talking about that he said in Ksubas, he said Kachu Yadai Lo Yiseyan. So she wasn't makdish to Maisi Yadayim. Avadi holds davar shaloi b'la olam is a problem. It's talking about he wasn't makdish the Maisi Yadayim, he was makdish the Yadayim themselves. And the Yadayim is nu ba'olam, the Gemara said. So the Gemara asked, L'chayra, how does that lashon work? L'chayra, she didn't say that should be chal after the gerushin. So, and now, right now, her hands are meshubat the husband. So how could she make such a... How could she answer herself and answer her Maisi Yadayim? So the Gemara said, it's talking about, she said, L'chim megarsha, after she gets divorced. She did say it. So frekti Gemara. So the Gemara wanted to know, of course, still, according to Amar, that Eina de Makdish davar shaloi b'la olam, how does that lashon work? For davar shaloi b'la olam, the Maisa the gerushin still did not happen. So Reb Eila said, the Gemara says, on top of Pei Vav and Aleph, Amar Reb Eila. So Reb Eila basically answered, he said it's similar to the case of a guy sells a sadeh to his friend, and he tells him that when I take it back from him, it should be kaddish, even though the whole transaction didn't happen yet, it's not now. But he could say it because right now the field is in his rishus, it's in the Melech's rishus. So too, the Gemara compared and said that Legabi Kedushin, hayois that now, the guf of the Yadayim is in her rishus. Right now, my Yadayim are mine. So the Mela, the lady, she couldn't make the hegdish for later on, l'kashet tiskarsha. So that was the Gemara's comparison. So now Zakti Gemara, Maskal or Rabbi Yirmiyah asked in this, Midami, how could you compare these two dinim? L'chayr saduzu shana meichelecha hashtabidehu. Even though it's going to go out of his rishos, but lamaisa hashbidehu, now it's in the rishos of the meicher, so therefore he could makdashe even the gabed his man later on. It's going to go back to his rishos. But isha b'yada lahakdish ma'aseh yadeh, a lady, could she be makdish ma'aseh yadayim now? Lamaisa right now she can't do makdish ma'aseh yadayim because right now she's mishubedes to her husband. So since she can't be makdish now, l'chayr she shouldn't be able to do makdish even for later on after gerushin. So Rabbi Yirmiyah continues and he says, if you want to really compare it to such a type of case, legabe transaction of a sadeh, halaydami el omer lechaver, it's only similar to somebody that tells his friend, sadeh zusha macharti lecha l'shchenamcha tekadish. It's similar to a guy that already sold the field and it's not in his rishos anymore, and he tells his friend, when I buy it back from you, it should become hegdish. And in that case, is it kaddish in that case? The hegdish is not chal because now the field is not in the rishos. So who then over here, this lady now her yadayim not in rishos because she's meshuvah medis labayla. So l'chayra she should not be able to makdish her ma'aseh yadayim. So Rav Papa doesn't like Rabbi Yirmiyah's kashi. He says, Maskal Rav Papa, midami. How are you comparing it to such a case? Gabi zvina, psika mosayu. By you selling a field, it's clear that the meicher has no chelik b'chlal in his field once he sells it. But Gabi ishami psika mosa, is it taka black and white that a lady has no schus in herself? L'chayr, her own body is always in her rishus. right? She owns herself. It's just that her husband has a schus to Ma'aseh Yadayim. It's just that the Paris of the Ma'aseh Yadayim is shaykh to her husband, but her guf is still in her rishos. Masha Inkin, when a guy's a moicher sadeh selling his field, he has nothing to do absolutely with his field once it already sold. The ones that left is rishos. It's out. He has nothing to do with it. There's no strings attached at all. So says Rav Papa, Halei Dami, what is it similar to? To a case where a guy lends his friend money, and he gives him his sadeh. He lends his friend $100. He says, "I don't pay you back. You take my piece of property. Take my sadeh." So he tells his friend that when I'm paid this, this thing comes, when I redeem the field that I gave you as a mashkin, it should be kaddish. So Lamaisa still, the guf of the kakar in this case, still belongs to the loiva, the borrower. He just gave it as a mashkin to somebody else, but he still has shaykhis to this piece of kakar. So Mili Kacha, in that case, Avada Dr. of Papa, the Kedusha is chaz. It's saying, Hu adin, by a isha, that her yadayim are meshubedes to her husband, and the guf yadayim it is hers. It's her. She owns herself. So the in the same way, the kedushin that she's making for after gerushin could be chal when her shibud goes away from her husband. It's similar to the case of sadazu shemishkanti lecha uksheftena memcha tikadesh. It's similar to that. So Maskler of Shesha Breder of Idi, or Shesha Breder of Idi Shlo doesn't like Rav Papa's Sushtel. Says, Mi Dami, is it dami to the case of Mashkin? Mi Dami Sada Biyada of Doisai. Buy a field that it's a Biyada of the Loiva to redeem it. If he wants, he could pay up what he owes the Malva. And the Kagan goes right back to him. So therefore, you'll say he has a Koyach to the Makshisha. Because anything that's Biyada, the person to do, you'll say is not nidin k'mechosar ma'aseh. It doesn't have a din like it's far removed for him. However, isha biyadol iskara shvrekt of sheisha b'davidi. By a lady, will you say that if she wants, she got divorced? L'chayr, it's totally in the ratzon of her about ritzayim baila, if he wants to divorce his wife or not. So maybe she shouldn't be able to be maksha ma'aseh daim. It's not biyada. So Zakar Sheshavir, you know what it is, Daima too. He said he's masking to her papa that Kedusha will work like a gershon, but he says, Holy Damya, Ella, Loim Lechaver, Sada Zu, Shemeshkanti Lecha, Le'esa Shanim, if a guy tells his friend, this Sada I gave as a mashkin for a period of 10 years, and he can't be paid before those 10 years are up, he says, that when I redeem it from you, it should be Kaddish, Mila Kacha. In that case, after 10 years, it's going to be Kaddish. So who I did my lady that even if she can't get divorced now, even if she wants to, still the Kedushin should be Chal. Maskal or Rashi. So Rashi asks on the comparison of Rosh Hashanah that Eden makes. It says, Mi Dami Hassam, when someone gives his field as a mashkin for 10 years, kits, it's a davar kotzav, it's a set time, that after 10 years, it's for sure going to go back to the original owner. So therefore, maybe over there, but in that case, I'll say it's biyadai that he could be makdish right away. However, isha mi isla kitusa, is there a set time that a lady could say, I for sure want to get divorced after this time? It's not a richtig zustand. Maybe she'll never get divorced. Her husband never wants a divorce, so she'll never be able to get divorced. It's really up to him. So maybe she should not be able to mak to Shemai Seidayim. So kumtois is taka still shver, frekt Rav Ashi. How could a lady be mak to Shemai Seidayim if she's oida tachas baila? If you hold the in the mak shtavish level. So Ela Rav Ashi, rather Rav Ashi says that no, a lady could be makish ma'aseh even when she's b'shus baila, and even according to the sheet as a whole, in the makish tavish level olam. Why? Because shani kainamois the chi kedushas haguf dami. It says kainamois, the hilchas nedarim is different. So it says the iser of kainamois is similar to the din of kedushas haguf, and to behemoths a makish mizbeach. They have a din kedushas haguf and you can never redeem them. And so too, kainamais, there's no way of being paid. And just like when you makdish animal to mizbeach, you mafkia all the shibud and the ham and mehema, because now it's kadosh, it's hektish. So too, kainamais is mafkia also shibudim that were on it before that until now. And when a lady's makdish her hands for her maisim, then she's mafkia the shiba to her husband. So that's why it could work even now that she's still married. Because the Rava, and like Rava says, the Amar Rava says, hektish chametz v'shichur mafkia midei shibud. Hektish, if something becomes hektish, or the shichur, when chametz is mafkia, hektish chametz v'shichur, mafkia midei shibud, it takes away from the shibud of the malva. So meaning there's three things that even if they were meshubid, if they were like a lien on a chayiv of the malva, it goes away. And the first thing is hektish. If a loiva, a guy that borrowed money, gives his axe, his shar, to a malva as a mashkin, and he's makdish it on that, he's makdish that shar, in that case, the kedusha is chal, and we don't say that it's considered a shar hagazol, Lagabi didn't bring it for a carbon, and huadin kainim. If a loiva says he makes an iser on it, iser kinamais, it's also mafkia the shiba to the malva. That's the halacha of hektish. Then the second halacha is chametz. If Yisrael gives a mashkin of chametz to a goy and Pesach comes, it takes away the iser chametz of Pesach. The iser chametz of Pesach takes away the rights that the goy has in the chametz, and the chametz becomes asar abana, like the din of chametz of Yisrael. That's the halacha of chametz. And shichur, a loiva that gives a loiva that gives a mashim tamal, he gives him his evet kanani, and then he frees him. The halacha is that the shichur is chal on the evet. In these cases, the halacha is that the malva has to collect his chay from somewhere else. He can't take from the evet kanani, the chametz, or the hektish. And this is how it's miyoshev. This is how Rav Ashi is miyashev the stira that the Gemara had in the beginning of Sugya and Shmuel. That we're saying that according to Shmuel, you cannot be makdish or aser davar shloi b'lo'olam, and therefore Shmuel passes like Rabbi Yochanan Sander that the Baal cannot be makdish moiser maisi the ishtoi that he's going to be zeichel after she dies. However, he still passes like in our Mishnah, like Rabbi Yochanan Menuri, that the Baal has to be made for Nedarim because she asked her Yadayim for its maisim. And even according to the sheets that hold, in the Makdish Davar Shaloi Bala Olam, the halacha by Nedarim is going to be that the neder is chal legabed is man even after gerushin, even though now she's mishubas to her husband. Why? Because it's a special din. Kainamos is mafkia midei shibud, just like we see, like Rava says. So frekte Gemara ihachi lameli shemi gershana. Why do we have to say that the reason why the Baal could be made for is because maybe he's going to divorce his wife? L'chayr, the Isser is chal right now because the neder is mafkia the shibud Baal, and he becomes asr in ma'aseh daim because it's a special halacha of kinamis. So Zok the Gemara Tanei. So Zok the Gemara, you have to learn like this. Va'oid shami gershena. You're right. There's taka two reasons Rabbi Yochanan Menuri in the Mishnah. One is that the hektish is chal right now, so the middle of Balkim, it has to be made for, could be made for, could it be made for, in order to matter this, that he could have enough from a Maisi Yadayim. Va'oid, and another reason, even if we want to say that the Chachamim made the Koyach HaBaal so strong that the Isha cannot be mafkia the Shiba Dal Yidei HaKoinim, but Kol Makom should still be made for, it's another reason, because maybe they'll get divorced and that will prevent him from remarrying his wife because there'll be an Esther there. Zok the Heilige Mishnah. This Mishnah is going to discuss the din of if someone's made for, if a Baal is made for a neder, someone's made for a neder, but tois, he made a mistake. It means he didn't know who was the one that made the neder. He made a mistake as to who made the neder, or he didn't know what the neder was. Zok the Mishnah. Nadra ishtay, a person that his wife made a neder, v'savar shenadra bita, and he thought that his daughter made the neder, or nadra bita, his daughter made the neder, or nadra Another bita v'savash another ishta. His daughter was the one that actually made the nether, and he thought his wife made the nether, and he was noidali das al das Cain that the wife made it, but it turns out that wasn't the truth. Nadra bin Nazir, if his wife or his daughter made a nether and a Nazir, they're Mekamos of Naziris, v'savash another b'carbon, and he thought that their nether was in a certain carbon, that she said she was, let's say, wants to be us like a carbon oila or whatever. Nadra b'carbon, or if they made a nether and a carbon v'savash another Nazir, and he thought that the nether was done in a Nazir, and he was made for it based on that. Nadra Mitainim, if his wife or his daughter asked themselves in figs, v'savash another he thought they asked themselves in grapes. Nadra ma'anavim v'savash another mitainim. The halacha is in all these cases the hafara is nachal, and when he knows, when he actually it gets known to him the truth of the nether, what actually happened, the halacha is hareza yachzer yafar, he could go on that day and be made for it again.